Hey everyone. Okay, so this chapter dropped the major, but I guess not so major bombshell that Rovan was not actually Shuri's father, which right out of the gate I gotta say, the way it was revealed felt like the One Piece equivalent of being on the Mari show, like with Mari shouting to the audience, "You are not the father." But in all seriousness though, I never mentioned this in my previous videos, but I was silently wondering, okay, how does Shuri become a celestial dragon? Well, this chapter reveals that she was a daughter of the Man Mayer family, and this is one of those reveals that makes sense in hindsight, as Oda never did fully show Shuri's birth, but that in itself still comes with a whole load of questions about Condell herself and what her connection to the Man Mayer family was, because so far it's looking like a similar situation to what happened with Garling on God Valley, where Guro had an affair with Condell while she was still maybe captain of Asperia's military, but or maybe even slightly before that. But even beyond that, we also get the reveal that yeah, there is something special about the Manmayer's families, bipolar eyes as they're called, and frustratingly, Oda does not. Oda, being the tease that he is, cut off the explanation of what that means short, but I am convinced even more than ever that it is tied to another ancient ancestry, and more specifically, I think it's more directly connected to Emu, but one thing that does puzzle me for sure about this reveal is Guro saying he was unable to awaken the eyes. So that in itself is a tell that there is something special about these eyes. There is something that there's like a hidden power or something behind them. And now, as far as what they're capable of and what their power is, that's the biggest question, that's another big question to it. But the fact that Guro admits he couldn't awaken his eyes, whereas apparently Shuri could, it does kind of reveal that yeah, there is a that there is a power here, that there is a power behind these eyes that only a few, even within the royal family of Men Mayer, are able to control, and whatever power they possessed. Now, I think I remember now because I'm in the Elbaf arc in the anime now. One specific scene does kind of stand out with this particular moment, which is the moment when he basically, which is the confrontation between Shuri, Gunko, Shuri, uh, and and the giant guards. Now, I might be wrong on this, and it might have been more a tease for her devil fruit power, but I remember there being a moment where she was almost like controlling gravity, or she was controlling she was controlling something. So it's like it feels like it feels like that there's some, if unless I'm mistaken, I think what the power might be of the bipolar eyes is to control some kind of invisible force that allows them in order to control people, in order to control people's movements or actions or whatnot. I think that's kind of what it might be, but again, I'd like more of an explanation of what this power is regardless. Um, Getting back to Brook, though, this chapter definitely cemented the idea in my mind that Brook has lived a very, very cursed life. Like, it truly is a case of how trauma trauma and grief can really shock a man in order to genuinely lock memories away. And in Brook's case, like the shock and the trauma of what happened that day on Asperia was so great. Brook's grief, in a way, it like shocked him to lock the memories of what happened to Asperia away, and it really shows just how much Brook has been suffering in silence. You could say, like even without fully understanding the memories, he was suffering in silence. Like his suffering was just so great he couldn't even contend with it. And like yeah, after seeing what happened, after again seeing how everything on Asperia played out, it's not hard to see as to why he like forcefully locked all those memories away. Like it was probably even more so than losing the Rumbar Pirates. It was probably the most brutal moment in Brook's life. Like that's the kind of shit where you're like, yeah, I don't want to remember this. Please lock it away from me. Like understandably so. Like could any of us really say that we wouldn't feel like we would suffer in the same way Brook did here? I know I would. Um, uh, like, cause for him, and it's, and the thing is, I'm not gonna lie, and now I'm not gonna lie though, this chapter also leaves me in a bit of an awkward place with how I feel about Brook's decision when we cut back to the present, because on one hand, again, getting the full picture of what happened to Asperia, I fully understand Brook's point of view now more than ever, and why he wants to save, and why he wants to save, and why he wants to save and why he wants to save Shuri, because it's for him it's not just about holding on to the past, but it's about rectifying his greatest failure, a failure not to, a failure to not only protect not only protect the ones who gave him who gave him life, who gave him a life to begin with, but a failure to protect the very place he called home from becoming another victim of the world government's cruelty. So, like in that regard, I like, and for him, I think Shuri is the last breath of that of is the last attempt for him to fully rectify his failure and his actions. Now, now, in saying that, I still question if it's even possible to save Shuri, because although Shuri was greatly influenced by Emu at the time she killed Ruvan, and even though we have seen moments of her old self resurface that exists, I still find myself questioning just how possible it is to actually reach out to that part of her that Brooke remembers, and if so, like how strong is it compared to the brainwashing? Like I'm not like it's one of those things where I'm not actively trying to be a pessimist here, but something about this whole setup still makes me think it's not going to go according to the way Brooke wants this to. Like even if they succeed at saving her from Emu's grip, like something is still going to go horribly wrong. But I'm like again, I'm happily willing to be proven wrong, but it's like I don't know. Again, I don't want to be a pessimist, but something just isn't clicking correctly into place. That is making me optimistic that this is all going to go according to plan, or at least how Brooke wants it to go. But again, we'll just have to wait and see. In saying that, the biggest bit of levity with this chapter for me was Emu getting absolutely clocked by Luffy's punch while going on his usual spiel about the Giants. Like it's one of those moments where after seeing everything with Brook's backstory, that one moment had me jumping up out of my chair, fist clenched, and yelling, "Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! Fuck him up, Luffy!" Like Luffy's had a lot of great punch moments throughout the series, but for me, this one felt the most therapeutic in the sense of us having to see Emu's influence on so many events throughout the series, that seeing him finally getting a little bit of karma thrown back at him is just so satisfying to see. And hopefully that means no more fucking around and we actually start truly like beating on his ass now. Like Luffy, please just go absolute ham on him at this point. No, if you've been holding back, no more of that shit, and just beat his fucking ass now, please. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe from Blue Sky, and with Crunchyroll, bitch notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share it around, guys. Dark Knight signing off. Later, everyone.